Dan dan dan. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm very happy. So today I want to talk with you about special topic. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah. I want to share my story with you. It's about how I learned English. Learning English can be hard, but it's also fun. You can learn it step by step. Today, I want to tell you what I did to learn English. When I was young, I didn't know any English. I was scared to speak. I didn't understand the words. I didn't know where to start. But I didn't give up. I decided to try. I wanted to learn. So I started by listening. Listening was very important. I listened to English stories. I listened every day. It helped me understand the language better. The first time I listened to a story, I didn't understand much. But I kept listening. Little by little, the words started to make sense. It was like magic. I could hear the words, and I could understand them. The fear started to go away. I learned that listening is very important for learning English. Then I started practicing. My teacher always said, "Practice makes perfect." It's true. If you want to learn English, you must practice. I spoke in English every day. Sometimes I made mistakes. But that's okay. Mistakes help you learn. Don't be afraid of them. I didn't stop. I kept speaking. I learned new words every day. I used them in sentences. Slowly, I got better. One day I found a book. It was a simple book. The pictures helped me understand the story. It was about a dog. The dog was lost, and he was looking for his home. I read it again and again. Every time I read it, I learned new words. It helped me a lot. When you read, you learn many things. You learn new words. You learn how to use them in sentences. So, I read every day. The more I read, the better my English became. Writing is another important part of learning English. I used to write in a small notebook. At first, I only wrote short sentences, but every day, I wrote something. I wrote about my day. I wrote about my family. I wrote about the things I liked. As I wrote, I started to feel more confident. Writing helped me use the words I had learned. It helped me remember them. The more I wrote, the better I got. Watching English videos also helped me a lot. I watched cartoons. I watched movies. It was fun. When I watched them, I learned how people speak. I learned how to say words correctly. I also learned new words. One time I watched a cartoon about a funny cat. The cat made me laugh, but I also learned new words. Watching helped me understand English better. Talking to people is another way to learn. It's very important to talk in English. I had a friend who spoke English very well. We talked every day. Sometimes I made mistakes, but my friend was patient with me. She corrected me when I made mistakes. She helped me learn. Talking to her helped me a lot. I learned new words and how to use them. One of the most important things I learned was to be patient. Learning English doesn't happen in one day. It takes time. I had many moments when I felt sad. I didn't understand everything, but I didn't give up. I kept going. Little by little, I got better. You must be patient with yourself. Don't give up. Keep trying. Every small step is important. I also started using a dictionary. The dictionary helped me understand new words. Every time I heard a new word, I looked it up. Then I used it in a sentence. This helped me learn many new words. You should always carry a dictionary with you. It will help you a lot. Another tip is to play games in English. Playing games is fun. You don't even feel like you are studying. I used to play word games with my friends. We played puzzles. We also played quiz games. It was fun, and I learned many new words. So try playing games in English. It will make learning fun. Finally, remember to enjoy the journey. Learning English is not just about the final goal. It's about enjoying every step. Every new word you learn is progress. Every story you read is a step forward. Enjoy it. Don't rush. Take your time and enjoy the process. So, my dear friend, don't be afraid. You can learn English step by step. Listen, practice, read, write, and watch. Talk to people, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Stay patient and positive. The more you enjoy learning, the faster you will improve. Let's start this journey together. Chapter 2. The Power of Listening. Hello again, friends. Welcome to Chapter 2. In the last chapter, I told you how important it is to practice and be patient. Today, we will talk about something very important: listening. Listening is one of the best ways to learn English. When I started learning English, I didn't know much, but I loved listening to stories. I listened to English every day. I would listen to music, news, and sometimes even people talking. The more I listened, the better I got at understanding English. At first, it was difficult. I didn't understand many words, but I didn't stop. I kept listening. Slowly, I started to hear new words and understand what they meant. The more I listened, the more words I learned. I started hearing words everywhere, on the radio, in movies, and in songs. It was like the world was speaking to me in English. Listening is very important because it helps you understand how words are used. It shows you the correct way to say words. You can hear how people speak naturally. For example, in movies, you can hear how actors speak. They speak quickly, but you can understand the words when you listen carefully. This helped me learn how to speak more naturally, too. Listening also helps you with your pronunciation. When you listen to English, you hear how words sound. You can repeat what you hear. It's a great way to practice speaking. I remember when I was learning, I would listen to a song and repeat the words. I would sing along and try to sound just like the singer. It was fun, and it helped me improve my speaking skills. Another way I practiced listening was by listening to stories. I found simple English stories online. The stories were easy to understand, and I could listen to them as many times as I wanted. Some stories were about animals, and some were about people. Every time I listened to them, I learned something new. I learned new words, and I also learned how sentences are formed in English. Listening to stories also helped me understand English grammar. For example, when I listened to a story, I could hear how sentences were built. I could hear the words in the right order. Over time, I started to understand grammar better just by listening. One of the best things about listening is that you can do it anywhere. You can listen to English while you are walking, cooking, or even cleaning your room. I would always have my headphones on and listen to stories or songs. Sometimes I would listen to the news, even though I didn't understand everything. But little by little, I began to understand more and more. I also listen to podcasts. Podcasts are great because they help you learn in a fun way. You can find many podcasts that are made for beginners. These podcasts use simple English, and they speak slowly, so it's easier to understand. I would listen to podcasts during my free time. They taught me new words and helped me improve my listening skills. Sometimes I didn't understand every word in the story or podcast. That's okay. The important thing is to keep listening. You don't need to understand everything at once. As you listen more and more, your brain will start to connect the words, and you will start to understand more. Listening to people is also very helpful. If you have friends who speak English, talk to them. Listen to them carefully. They will speak naturally, and you will learn from them. You can also watch videos on the internet. There are many videos that teach English. Some videos teach grammar, while others teach new vocabulary. Watching these videos helped me understand English better. I want to share a little tip with you. If you don't understand a word, don't worry. Just keep listening. Later, you can look up the word in a dictionary. When you do this, you will learn the meaning of the word, and next time, you will understand it when you hear it again. Listening is like a tool that helps you understand the language. The more you use this tool, the better you will get at speaking and understanding English. So, I encourage you to listen every day. Listen to songs, stories, podcasts, and anything you can find in English. It doesn't matter if you don't understand everything at first. Just keep listening, and you will improve. Over time, you will begin to hear more words, understand them better, and speak more clearly. Listening will help you become a great English speaker. In the next chapter, we will talk about how important it is to speak and practice. But for now, remember this. Listening is key. The more you listen, the more you learn. Keep listening, and your English will improve. Chapter 3. The Power of Speaking. Hello, friends. Welcome to Chapter 3. In the last chapter, we talked about how important listening is. Today, we will focus on speaking. Speaking English is very important. If you want to learn English, you need to practice speaking. When I first started learning English, I was scared to speak. I was afraid of making mistakes. But then I remembered something important. Mistakes are okay. Everyone makes mistakes, even people who speak English very well. So, don't be afraid to speak. The more you speak, the better you get. Speaking English can be fun, but it takes practice. I remember when I was learning, I would practice speaking every day. Sometimes, I spoke to myself. I would look in the mirror and talk about my day in English. It felt a little strange at first, but it helped me get more comfortable with speaking. I practiced saying simple things like, "Today I went to the store," or "I like to eat pizza." These simple sentences helped me practice. Another way to practice speaking is by talking to friends. If you know someone who speaks English, talk to them. Don't worry if you make mistakes. They will help you. My friend helped me a lot when I was learning. We would talk in English every day. Sometimes I didn't know the right word, but my friend would teach me. Speaking with someone else is a great way to practice because it makes you use the words you've learned. If you don't know anyone who speaks English, don't worry. There are many ways to find people to talk to. You can use the internet to find people who want to practice English. There are websites and apps where you can find language partners. You can talk to them on video calls, voice calls, or even by texting. When I didn't have a friend to practice with, I used these apps to find people to talk to. It was a fun way to practice, and I learned a lot from it. Sometimes I felt nervous when I had to speak, but I kept practicing. And little by little, I became more confident. Speaking is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So, even if you feel nervous, try to speak as much as you can. The more you practice, the easier it will become. You can also practice speaking by reading out loud. If you have a book or story in English, read it out loud. This will help you practice pronunciation and also improve your speaking skills. I used to read books out loud to practice. It was helpful because I could hear how the words should sound. After reading, I would try to say the sentences without looking at the book. This helped me remember the words better. Another way to practice speaking is by repeating what you hear. If you listen to a song or watch a video, try to repeat the words you hear. This is called shadowing. You can repeat the words right after you hear them. This helps you learn the correct pronunciation and makes your speaking sound more natural. I did this with my favorite songs. I would listen to the song and try to sing along. It was fun, and it helped me improve my speaking. Speaking also helps you remember new words. When you say a word out loud, your brain remembers it better. If you learn a new word, try to use it in a sentence. The more you say it, the more you will remember it. For example, when I learned the word happy, I used it in many sentences. I am happy today. I feel happy when I see my friends. Saying the word made me remember it. It's also important to speak clearly. When you speak, try to say the words slowly and clearly. This helps the person you are talking to understand you better. At first, I spoke very fast because I was nervous, but then I learned to slow down and speak clearly. This made it easier for others to understand me. One thing I want to remind you is that speaking is not just about saying the right words. It's about practicing and being confident. You don't need to speak perfectly. The most important thing is to try. Even if you make mistakes, you will learn from them. When I made mistakes, I didn't feel bad. I just learned and tried again. You can also speak in everyday situations. For example, when you go to the store or order food, try to speak in English. Even if you only know a few words, try to use them. I remember when I first started ordering food in English. I felt nervous, but I practiced saying things like, "I would like a sandwich, please." It was a small thing, but it helped me a lot. Remember, the key is to practice every day. Speak every day, even if it's only for a few minutes. The more you speak, the better you will get. You don't need to speak for hours. Just speak for a little bit every day. Practice makes perfect, and soon you will feel confident when you speak English. In the next chapter, we will talk about reading. Reading is another great way to learn English, and it will help you improve your speaking too. But for now, keep speaking and practicing. You're doing great. Chapter 4. The Magic of Reading. Hello, friends. Welcome to Chapter 4. In the last chapter, we learned about the power of speaking. Today, we will talk about reading. Reading is a very important part of learning English. It helps you learn new words, understand sentences, and improve your speaking. When I started learning English, I didn't like reading. I thought it was hard and boring. But I soon realized that reading is a great way to learn. The more I read, the more words I learned, and the better my English became. So, even if you don't like reading at first, keep trying. It will get easier, and you will enjoy it more. One of the easiest ways to start reading is with simple books. Find books that are easy to understand. These books have simple words and short sentences. I started with children's books because they are simple and fun to read. They help me learn new words and understand how sentences are formed. If you don't know where to start, you can find many free books online that are easy for beginners. When you read, try to read out loud. This helps you practice speaking and pronunciation. When I read out loud, I learned how to say the words correctly. I also learned how to read sentences with the right rhythm and flow. Reading out loud helps you remember the words better too. It's like speaking practice and reading practice at the same time. Another way to improve your reading is by reading every day. Even if you only read for 10 minutes a day, it will help you a lot. The more you read, the better you will get. I remember at first, I couldn't read a whole page without stopping. But as I read every day, I could read more and more without stopping. It was exciting to see my progress. When you read, don't worry if you don't understand every word. It's okay not to know everything. When I read, I would often see new words that I didn't know. But instead of stopping, I would try to guess what the word meant by looking at the other words in the sentence. This is called reading in context. It means understanding the meaning of a word by looking at the sentence or story around it. If I still didn't understand, I would look up the word in a dictionary. But most of the time, I could guess the meaning, and that helped me learn new words quickly. You can also use pictures to help you understand the story. If the book has pictures, look at them before you start reading. The pictures can give you clues about what the story is about. Even if there are no pictures, try to imagine what the story looks like in your mind. This helps make the story more interesting and easier to understand. As you read, try to pay attention to the grammar too. English grammar might be a little confusing at first, but it's important to know. When you read, you will see how sentences are formed and how words change depending on the tense or subject. For example, you will see how we use I am for present tense and I was for past tense. Reading helps you understand grammar in a natural way. It's like learning the rules without trying too hard. You can also practice reading by reading things that interest you. If you like stories, read storybooks. If you like science or history, find books about those topics. When you read about something you enjoy, it's easier to learn and remember new words. I used to read books about animals because I loved animals. It made reading more fun for me, and I learned many new words that way. Another great way to practice reading is by reading newspapers or magazines in English. These are short and easy to read. You can find many articles online for beginners. Start with simple articles and read them slowly. If you don't understand something, try to guess the meaning or look it up. Don't worry about reading quickly. The important thing is to understand what you're reading. If you like, you can also try reading comics. Comics are fun because they have pictures and easy words. They are a good way to practice reading and learn new words. I used to read comics in English, and they helped me learn many new things. Comics are also great for practicing speaking because they have conversations. You can read the conversations out loud and practice your speaking skills. Reading helps you in many ways. It improves your vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. It also helps you understand how English sentences are put together. The more you read, the better your English will be. So, read as much as you can every day. If you ever feel tired or bored while reading, take a break and come back later. It's okay to stop and rest. Learning a language takes time, so be patient with yourself. Don't give up. Even if you can only read one page today, that's okay. Every little bit counts. In the next chapter, we will talk about writing. Writing is another important part of learning English. But for now, keep reading and practicing. The more you read, the better your English will be. You are doing amazing.